I think certainly the longer-term sort of cultural aspects are sometimes forgotten in this. One of the most fascinating projects that I've had the pleasure of being involved in over the last few years is, in fact, the digitising of the 70-year archive of Meanjin. And it's just astonishing, the names that occur and reoccur in Meanjin. The number of writers who were clearly starting, early on in their career, submitting poems, stories. A lot of cultural history appears in there as well. I mean, I was just talking earlier to Philip about a very famous piece by A.A. Phillips that appeared in 1950 talking about the Australian cultural cringe. And I mean, the reverberations and what resonated from that over the next 20 years particularly went on to inform and change the way that we see ourselves as a society and what we can do in terms of, the art of writing, of poets and other cultural criticisms.
Using that kind of image, I could say that the magazines are almost like the scaffolding for all the books that come up later. So if you think of your library stock, you've got 5,000 titles. Well, quite frankly, I would say, a little reductive this image, but I would say that if the magazines didn't resist, all those shelves will fall down over time, because that's the job that the magazines have done. A.A. Phillips is the cultural cringe. I wonder whether we're within the new cringe now. I'm sure we are.
I think we are. I think we absolutely are. And I mean, his articles, I was actually rereading it just about 2 weeks ago, and it is fascinating. And it's fascinating also because there are a lot of phrases in it that didn't become sort of catch cries, but he also talks about how, the opposite of cultural cringe isn't the swagger, but it's the sort of relaxed gait. It's the feeling, being at ease with yourself. And I think we still struggle to be at ease with ourselves when it comes to our own cultural products. There's a sense that we must
don't put airs and graces on. You're a Nazi.
Exactly. But I think in some ways we've almost become aggressively defensive of our culture. In a very strange way, actually. It's quite an odd phenomenon, I think, and I don't think it helps us. I think it's blinding us. It means that there's a sense that we have to support everything, and that everything is worthwhile that is produced, and that you must never sort of criticise anything because it's local.
I'm not going to be a rabid nationalist, as you know. But the Writers' Week Adelaide Festival, I was talking to somebody about a month ago about it, and I said, who's on the program? And they put all these names. And I said, I haven't heard of this person, this person, this person, this person. And the person said to me, they're from England, they're from America. And I was supposed to almost bow down and scrape at this point. So I facetiously said, well, they must be good. So what I'd subconsciously done was, I think, verbalise the sorts of ways we're still thinking. They are probably brilliant. I'm not arguing that for a moment. But local writers sort of don't really get a look in often in some of those festivals if they're not smaller community ones. And perhaps that's an example of that. So it's pretty hard to promote things like this that are rabidly local